The 73rd visit all-time to the city of Toronto for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've won 25 games here, including one earlier this season. A game in which Danny Sabourin actually started.
Well, he gets another crack. He gave up 2 goals early in the hockey game, was bowled over by Darcy Tucker. The goaltender of record was Marc-Andre Fleury. He got the win last time in the Air Canada Centre, and Vesa Toskala, the Frasian goaltender, picked up by the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're hoping he would make some improvement. He's not a big goaltender. He's had a tough time in the overtimes and the shootouts. He gets a nod tonight for Toronto.
The 6th start in the last 7 games. Dan O'Halloran, Kevin Pollock, the referees, Andy McElman, Mark Schutchik are the linesmen. And the Penguins will start with Jordan Staal, Gary Roberts, and Tyler Kennedy. Try to get some energy here to get the game going against Matt Sundin. Mark Bell, first look at him in a Leafs uniform. And on the right side, Nick Antropov. And Rob Scuderi banks it off the boards right to Antropov, who dumps it into the Penguin zone. Antropov has gone 10 games without a goal. Mark Bell, the other winger on this line, has not scored a goal in his first 9 games for the Leafs. He's got 3 assists. But Paul Maurice saying today he likes the way he's looked on that line with Matt Sundin. They're a big trio on the ice. Hal Gill, speaking of big, is out here on defense, along with Ian White for the Toronto Maple Leafs. For the Penguins on defense, it's Scuderi and Eaton. As Antropov carries into the Penguin zone and curls on the near wall. Cross rink for Ian White. Pretty good offensive defenseman. Can't get it to the net as Gary Roberts fronted him. And now Bell moves it behind the net. Antropov right there. Mark Eaton with a good stick there to poke it away from him. Up the wall it came. The Penguins couldn't get it out. Tyler Kennedy will try again, and he does chip it back up towards Toronto ice.
Ex-Leaf Roberts will chase it down, let it go to White. Last time in this building, the Pittsburgh Penguins threw up 52 shots on the shot clock, Staggy, and that was the big reason why they won that hockey game. They just pummeled Toskala.
Matt Stajan on the ice now for Toronto, and Penguins able to just work the puck right back to the Toronto line. Thomas Caberlet teamed up with McCabe, who dumps the puck into the Penguin zone. Sabourin looks over his shoulder. There's it past Whitney up the wall. George Laraque couldn't play it, but it comes right back to Ryan Whitney, and he'll bank it off the boards to his partner, Brooks Orpik. Whitney and Orpik paired up again as usual. And carrying to center is Adam Hall. Hall dumps into the Leafs zone. George Laraque peeks over his left shoulder. Finds Ruutu in the left wing corner. Back for George behind the net, but stepping in front to anticipate Thomas Caberlet. Caberlet with an outlet pass to Mark Bell. Mark Bell, former Blackhawk and San Jose Shark, dropped it off for Sundin. Stripped away by Sidney Crosby. Crosby comes back, looks for Colby Armstrong. Was knocked off the stick, though, by Hal Gill. And the lead pass off the tape of Mark Bell right to the Penguins' net.
That's one thing you have to be wary of, is that long reach of Hal Gill. And when you think you have room to make a play in front of the big body, and he is a big guy, Hal Gill, he just got the stick out and poked it away from Sidney Crosby.
Colby Armstrong dumps it in. Hal Gill back to play it. And a whistle on the play. Bob, take a look at our PNC Bank lines.
Well, for the Pittsburgh Penguins here tonight, it is status quo. Sergei Gonchar on the shelf with a groin injury. Gives Sador a chance to get in the lineup. Picked up an assist against his old club, the Dallas Stars, last night. He's paired with Letang. That's the big reason why the Penguins won the other night. I thought they did a great job defensively in front of their goaltenders. They've done a much better job over the last 3 hockey games. The team is starting to come together. You start to see some of that unity that you want to see.
Alex Steen tried to pull the trigger, was blocked. Scuderi able to poke it free, and Sikora just swipes it back to neutral ice. Dumped right back in. The Leafs have to tag up as Rob Scuderi handles it behind the cage. The Penguins have held their opponents to 30 shots or under in 9 of the last 11 games. Playing pretty good defensive hockey. Here's Steen with it. Shooting, and a glove save by Sabourin on the short side.
A lot of talk here in Toronto. Let's get Steen and Stajan going. Well, you have to shoot the puck. And the Maple Leafs maybe haven't been shooting the puck enough, although you look at Jason Blake, Staggy, he's got 115 shots, if you can believe it or not. Only 2 goals on the season, none in 18 games. You mentioned some of the other players already that haven't scored. They do need to score a few more goals here in Toronto. They're giving up way too many. They're tied with Atlanta for the worst goals against in the league.
Jason Blake behind the net. He does have one of his 2 goals, though, against Pittsburgh. And we're not surprised at that. Tyler Kennedy banks it ahead. Kennedy from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, where it's minus 20 degrees right now. Lots of snow on the ground, a winter wonderland in the Sioux. It's a long way from here up on Lake Superior as the puck comes back to Penguin ice, and the tag made by Brooks Orpik on the icing call.
And you said we're not surprised that Jason Blake scored one of his goals against the Penguins this year. Why are we not surprised that he scored? Because he has more points against Pittsburgh than any other club in his career. He's got 18 goals and 38 points against the Penguins. He is a Penguin killer, and he did it primarily with the Islanders. Wellwood taking the draw. He missed 15 games again with a sports hernia against Sidney Crosby here for the Leafs. And Wellwood, he's a good one. He's got 4 goals on the season. Real handsy player.
Haven't seen him in either of the first 2 games between these 2 clubs because of that injury, but now we'll get a good look at him, and here he is darting in. Centers one for Blake, and it's off a stick. Wellwood gets it back, loose around the goal. One of the Penguins went down on the play. It was Ryan Whitney as Malone carries ahead. Malone looking back for Colby Armstrong. The Leafs read that. Blake stole it. Good defensive play, turning it into offense, and Blake curls up. Backhands one, and Brooks Orpik will track it down now on the far boards. Works it out for Malone. It goes behind his skate and right to Thomas Caberlet. Mark Bell carries in. Whitney reaches in with the stick. Bell snaps it back to the point. Gill with a shot. Sundin tried to get a stick on it. Cleared up the boards, but not a lot on it there. And Bell shoots and scores. Mark Bell gets his first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf as he pounced on the loose puck and drilled it inside the post.
And talk about a cigar store Indian. Sabern's still standing there looking for that biscuit. He had no idea the puck was shot. Absolutely incredible. It was one of those cycles from the corner out to the dot. Not a great angle shot, not a bad shot. Look at Sundin. He's going to get to that biscuit. Little shuffle pass right on top of the dot. A little screen by Eaton. But you see the goaltender, Sabern. Normally when a goaltender doesn't see the puck, he will go down in that comfortable butterfly position. Danny Sabern was beaten short side, and he has no idea that the puck was behind him until it hit that cage. So a bad start for the Penguins. After the Penguins scored only 24 seconds into the game last night, the Leafs come storming in here and score 4 minutes into this one.
Malkin tried to move the puck up the boards. He just didn't get a lot on it. It just kind of lollipopped it up the wall, and Bell able to get to a loose puck. I believe it was Colby Armstrong on the boards too. He was unable to take that attempt by Malkin to get it up the wall. Now Christensen reaches for the puck. Christensen leaves it there for Sikora. Penguins wearing their black jerseys here tonight. They want to wear the whites at home, the Toronto Maple Leafs do, with that Maple Leaf logo for Hockey Night in Canada. So the Penguins wearing their home uniforms on the road in this one. Chris Letang tried to get it back to the net quickly. One of the Leafs was upended on the play. It was Ian White hauled down. There'll be a penalty. And Sikora is going to head to the penalty box with the Penguins already down 1-0 in this game. The Leafs will put their power play to work. It's ranked only 29th in the NHL.
Well, neither of these clubs got on the power play barely in their last hockey game. The Leafs, who haven't scored in their last 4, got out one opportunity. There's the trip up in their last game. And the Penguins, conversely, they only got one power play chance last night against two against the Stars last night. And not a great opportunity to see what Chris Letang can do out there yet.
Penguins have killed the last 6 penalties against. They'll try to do it again here with Caberlet. Getting in for Kyle Wellwood. Wellwood for Sundin to Caberlet and back to Sundin. Wellwood try to cross-crease pass. Eaton breaks it up, sends it around the horn, and it'll bounce all the way back into Toronto territory.
Boy, did Toronto play a great game in Pittsburgh, beating the Penguins. McCabe was not in that hockey game. They really tightened it up defensively in front of their goaltender. And they played a road game. And here, sometimes they try to impress a little too much on home ice.
They had an open practice here today in Toronto. There were thousands of people here, mostly kids, to see the Leafs practice. And Darcy Tucker took a spill into the boards and hurt his shoulder. He went off the ice. And he came in with a sore shoulder tonight for the game, but he's on the ice. Or at least, he's still out there on this power play for Toronto. So he is in the lineup. Nick Antropov with it. For Ponikarovsky, who's been out with an injury. He backhands it down deep for Antropov. Whitney tries to cross-check him. Centering pass. And a good save by Sabern on Thomas Caberlet, who came in the back door. He was right there. And Sabern with a good move from left to right to make the save. Now Caberlet with it. Caberlet sends it behind the net for Jason Blake. Couldn't take the pass. McCabe pinches in. Jordan Stahl working hard, trying to get it out. Can't do it. Gets to the net, and it's blocked. It hit Brooks Orpik on the shot by Ponikarovsky. Blake gets it again. Snaps it along for Caberlet. Over to McCabe, a drive. Pad save and rebound. Gunned wide of the net by Ponikarovsky.
I'll tell you, Antropov in his reach, he's getting the puck. He's making plays with that long reach. He grabbed one from the end boards and was able to shuffle it out to Caberlet in front of the net in one motion. Looked like Lemieux.
Now Jason Blake swings around Malkin. Headmans the puck to Alex Steen. He runs into traffic. And the puck comes right back to Blake with 10 seconds to go on the penalty to Peter Sikora. Sabrin trying to get away from him, and he's able to clear it right up the middle. He's fortunate there to be able to make that play. The puck did kind of wander off his stick. Penalty is over. Penguins are making a change here as the Leafs, leading 1-0, come to center. Alex Steen just reached for it, right to Scary it goes. Now to Eaton, who just lifts it back to the Leafs line.
Mark Eaton has been a plus in 13 straight games for the Pittsburgh Penguins, laying on the ice, blocking shots. He's really been great defensively since Ray Shero picked him up. Knew what he had in Nashville, brought him to Pittsburgh.
Jordan Staal works it right side. Tyler Kennedy, he tried to sneak one around the defense, and it went off the stick of Wisniewski. Now Kennedy putting on the forecheck, trying to pry that puck free, but the Leafs quickly move it out of their own zone. This is Boyd Devereaux dumping it in. He'll make a beeline to the bench as Letang comes behind the net on his backhand, shifts to the forehand, and then backhands it up the boards for Gary Roberts. Nice little outlet pass for Staal, but he forgot the puck just inside the line, and it comes right back to number 3, Wade Belak. A rare opportunity for him to jump in there and get a good scoring chance, and the save made by Sabra.
Yeah, Wade Belak showing some of those offensive talents. The defenseman turned forward, and Wade Belak, third straight hockey game. Maurice wants him to keep improving, he said, on his hands.
Now the puck wanders up into the Penguin zone, and back to get it is Ryan Whitney. 11:56 to go in the first period. The Leafs leading 1-0 on a goal by Mark Bell, his first as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Steele, Ruutu shoots into the net, and Toskala scrambled to get back in the crease and got a piece of that shot. Antropov with it. Drops it off for Kaberle, who leads the charge into the Penguin zone. He makes the drop pass to Antropov. Ruutu confronted him, and they move it right side. Shot by McCabe, but that hit a Penguin. Came to the corner, and right to Ryan Whitney, who comes flying back for the Penguins ahead to Sidney Crosby. Crosby swooping in, finds Whitney. In front of the net is Larocque. He couldn't get it to him. Sid will take it, though. Throws it in front, and it's off the stick of Larocque again to the far corner. Ruutu's there. For Larocque behind the net. Sidney Crosby, Jarkko Ruutu, and George Larocque on the ice together.
A little offense, a little toughness, and a little bit of nastiness in Ruutu.
Here comes Bell again, looking for Antropov. Sundin goes behind the net. Antropov sends it right back in behind the net to Matt Sundin, and the captain of the Leafs with 3 Penguins around him dishes it off for Antropov. Man jumping in the back door, Darcy Tucker, but the Penguins able to direct it back to center.
I really sense the Leafs are trying to use their points in the offensive zone, and already here they've caught the Penguins napping, caught them deep really in their own zone, taking advantage of the blue line being back a couple of feet.
Jason Blake works it to the corner to Darcy Tucker. Tucker out to the point for Ian White. Reading the play nicely, though, was Eric Christensen. He's able to force the puck up into the Leafs zone. Was interfered with a little bit there. Nothing called.
I'd like to see that adjustment by Christensen. I think realizing that the Leafs are going to the point, the Penguins realizing that and trying to take it away now. Maybe they can get something going the other way.
Steal by Sikora behind the net. He and Christensen team up in that trapezoid. The centering pass for Eaton picked off by Jason Blake. For Kyle Wellwood, crisscross with Blake. They got their signals crossed that time, and Malkin comes the other way. Malkin looks left side of Roberts, and it's an offside call. Gary Roberts was a step ahead of the play into the Leafs zone. 1-0 Toronto. The bell has rung finally for the Leafs.
We told you earlier that this morning's skate for the Pens and Leafs was open to the public for a small fee. You can come in and watch. All proceeds went to a Leafs charity. Now, because we played last night and got in early this morning, the Penguins did not skate. Actually, only 4 members of the Gwins came out, and Sidney Crosby was not one of them. Or was he? That's Max Talbot wearing the 87. He quickly came out and took a bow as Sidney Crosby. The fans got a kick out of it, and so did the local media. Oh, Max Talbot, always a prankster, courtesy of number 87. Guys, back up to you.
I'll tell you, that was funny stuff, and I don't know how many people were there. It must have been 8,000 or 10,000. It was loud. It's louder than it's quieter right now than it was this morning, Staggy.
It was a different kind of noise, though. That sounded like you're on a school bus. There's just all kids here today.
Yeah.
Leafs keep the puck alive. Devereaux pokes it behind the net for Matt Stajan. Back for Devereaux. His shot. And a save by Sabrin. And the rebound comes right back to the Leafs. Devereaux to Ian White. His slapper. And it's kicked out by Sabrin right to the stick of Rob Scuderi. Mark Eaton with it. Works it up the wall for Jordan Staal. Directs it back to center. The Leafs are doing a good job in the neutral zone. But now Tyler Kennedy takes it upon himself. And he busts in and fires it wide of the goal.
That's his spot. He scored all 3 of his goals from the off wing, Tyler Kennedy.
Now Devereaux into the Penguin zone. His drop pass intended for Stajan. Behind him, Stajan whips it down the wall. Taken there by Chris Letang. Letang looks up, makes a nice little pass to defenseman Daryl Sador. Now a lead pass to Crosby. Gets his feet moving. Comes to the goal. In on the forehand, and a poke check made by Toskala to prevent Crosby from turning it over and dumping it into the net. Now Matt Sundin comes into the Penguin zone. Sundin's got Bell with him. Throws it cross ice, and it goes off a shin pad of Letang and ricochets back to center.
What explosive speed by Sidney Crosby. Just ran out of real estate there in front of Toskala. Tried to make the move to his forehand from his backhand in close quarters. Toskala indeed did get that stick out, Staggy. And I think I said earlier he was a free agent. No, he came over in a trade with Mark Bell, the goal scorer here tonight, for a first-round pick in 2007 and a fourth-rounder in 2009.
Here's Caberlet closing in. Look out. His shot wide of the goal. Boy, they were backing in on Caberlet there. Now McCabe wristing it behind the net. Blake trying to get there. Mark Eaton tried to knock him down, but Blake just keeps on chugging along the wall. Not easy to get a piece of him. He's a smaller player. You got to get leverage on him somehow. Here's Colby Armstrong. Dumping it behind defenseman Wisniewski. Ian White in to play it. Malkin spins him off the puck, but Wisniewski able to get there and send it up the wall and out to center. Sikora able to knock it out of midair and move it back to Brooks Orpik, who had 9 hits last night in the game against the Stars. Out to Evgeny Malkin. Malkin cuts in. Looks at left side. Christensen with a shot and a save made by Vesa Toskala. Now Christensen steals again. Centers one for Sikora. Gets it right back to the net. Oh, Malkin could not finish the play right on the doorstep. And the Leafs take it the other way. And on the right side it'll be Wade Belak, but Orpik shoots it past him right to Peter Sikora, and he dumps it into the Leaf zone.
And when you look at hockey games, you're looking at missed opportunities. Crosby and Malkin, the 2 stars of the Penguins, missing opportunities in back-to-back shifts here.
Hal Gill takes a bump in neutral ice from Adam Hall on an offside call here. 7:19 to go in the first period. Mark Bell with the only goal. Sidney Crosby with an incredible rush a moment ago.
There's a look at Tyler Kennedy chopping on the mouth guard, and 2 goals, 2 assists his last 3. Second stint here, if you will, with the Penguins, and he was sent down for 1 game. There's his first in the National Hockey League. They had to go to video. Roberts knew it was in. We knew it was in. All 3 of his goals coming from the off wing. A spinning shot against the Ottawa Senators and Martin Gerber. And then the other night, he finished it off with 3 in the National Hockey League against the Dallas Stars. He's got a good quick snapshot. He does everything quick. Quick feet, quick decisions, quick shot.
Quick study, too, I think. I think he's a better hockey player than maybe a lot of people realize. And any of the Penguins fans who came out and watched training camp the last couple of years, they know that Tyler Kennedy can play the game. And the folks in Wilkes-Barre know that too, Bob.
Yeah, you can bring a lot of energy, Staggy. And if he's going to put goals in the net, then he becomes a bona fide NHL hockey player, and he's making a pretty good argument.
Here's a chance. Oh, a blast, and Sabourin just got a piece of that heavy slap shot by Kronwall, and he just leaned into that thing, walked right down the slot and let it rip.
How about the saves he's made on defensemen here tonight? Caberlet coming down, Kronwall coming down, activating the defense, the backside. The Leafs are trying to generate offense. I think they're doing a good job of it.
Mark Bell sends it down the wall. Daryl Sador sends it up the wall. And Tropov got a piece of it, but that's all. And here comes Colby Armstrong. He likes to go down that left side. Looks for Crosby. Crosby takes it behind the net. Colby ran some interference for him. Malone, and his shot blocked. He couldn't pull the trigger quickly enough there. And getting a stick on it was Mark Bell. Good defensive position for Mark Bell there.
When he was 27, he used to get that away, Staggy. He turned 28 today. He's a little slower.
Here's Sidney Crosby with a backhand of a save made. Colby Armstrong looked for the rebound, but he fell down. Crosby almost put that in off to the far post. It went off the left pad of the goaltender Toskala as he tried to wrap around on the backhand. Sundin just pushes it to the net. Sabourin will keep play alive here. And Letang gets his feet moving as the Leafs are changing ahead of the play. But now Chris Letang retreats with Alex Steen on him. Look out here. Sador in a little trouble also. Devereaux staging goes to the front of the net. Steen walks out from behind the net. Try to work it in front. Staging has it there. Well, Letang made a bad decision there to go backwards. He should have just tried to get rid of the puck. Now it comes to the net. Sabourin trying to freeze it, and he does.
Well, he wanted to freeze it earlier. Yeah, and Letang is trying to find his way in the National Hockey League. That was ill-advised. A lot tougher for the defenseman at the end of a shift. Remember, if you ice it, you stay on the ice. Letang maybe should have ate it. This man, Thomas Caberlet, 5 goals, 17 points. He's on the All-Star ballot. And you better look around, get your head on a swivel. There he is on the doorstep. The Penguins caught napping. And then Kronwall, he's not on the All-Star ballot. He doesn't have a point this year. But he walked in the backside The Penguins are in the house, but not with the head on the swivel. And I said it before, Staggy, just because you're in position doesn't mean you're doing your job. The Penguins are napping in their own end right now. 11 shots by Toronto, 5 by the Penguins.
Face off to the right of Sabourin, and a shot by Darcy Tucker rings off the glass behind the net. Jason Blake sends it behind the net. Jordan Staal there. Blake can't play, but it comes to Ian White. He'll just push it to the net. Ryan Whitney try to clear it aside. The Leafs are a little quicker to the puck. Seem to have a little bit more jump on their legs right now than the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins look a little indecisive. Penguins are on their heels, and the Leafs are on their toes right now.
You say a little. Look at Wellwood. He's not a big guy. Neither is Blake or Darcy Tucker. They're a little quicker out here in the offensive zone.
Staal trying to get it out. Moves it up to center, knocked out of midair by Gary Roberts, but there goes Jason Blake again. Blake pulling up, looking for a trailer. Instead goes to the net. Darcy Tucker feathered it in front of the net, and the Penguins take off. Ryan Whitney will lead the charge, and he has to go to the bench as he dumps it in. Ian White for Gill and out for Bell. Crosby tried to steal it away from him, and now Bell dumps it in. Look out, a weird bounce, and Sabourin was ready to get over there and make it.
Went off the linesman. Number 92, Mark Schuchek, and he's going to have to check his parts.
Or his shoe, maybe.
Something. That did take a bad bounce.
Now here's Sidney Crosby against McCabe. In front for Colby Armstrong, and the save made by Toskala with a paddle down. Now Malkin fires one to the net. And the save made by Vesa Toskala. And Tropov headmans the puck to Sundin. He gave it away to Scuderi. He quickly turns it the other way. Malkin can't haul it in. Colby Armstrong, Evgeny Malkin, and Sidney Crosby on that last shift. Here comes Mark Bell. Sabourin steps out under pressure, sends it right back up the boards where it'll be taken by Daryl Sador. Moves it along for Eric Christensen. Christensen with good jump. Try to go to the forehand. The puck off his stick. Held in now by Letang. But Stajan right there to take it. Now
high stick on
the puck, and that brings a whistle. In the spring of '67, the NHL's expansion to 12 teams gave one man an opportunity to start something special from scratch. That man was Jack Riley, the Penguins' first ever general manager. Hear his story on In My Own Words. Jack Riley, Wednesday night at 7:30 only on FSN. Very interesting story. Give you a little perspective on how much things have changed in hockey since 1967 when the Penguins came into existence. Jack Riley has seen it all. He still lives in Pittsburgh. There's Andy Wisniewski in the same house he lived in back when he was general manager of the Penguins in '67.
Really? I hope the mortgage is paid off.
Peter Sikora gets a stick on it to direct it out to center. Ian White takes it for the Leafs. For Wisniewski. Now for Steen. Steen let it go, and Letang beaten to the puck by Boyd Devereaux. Look out, there's a Leaf sneaking in right now. And the Penguins didn't even see him coming. It was Chad Kilger. But Staal able to take it away from him. Up the wall it goes, beyond the reach of Ruutu to Ian White, who dumps it right back in behind the Penguins' goal. Sador is there. Moves it along for Letang. He banks it ahead to Sikora. Staal wanted the puck there, but Sikora didn't give it to him. Instead, he dumps it in and goes to the bench. Staal will get it on the other side of the ice. Now for Roberts and back for Jordan Staal. Staal spins away from Wade Belak. Good work by Jordan Staal. Finds George Laraque down low. Haberle bothering him, but Laraque shrugs that off. Laraque tried to get it to the net, right through the crease to the near side where Whitney works it to the corner. They're just battling along the trenches right now. We're going to get a penalty. It's going to be against the Leafs. No, it's not going to be against the Leafs. I beg your pardon. The Penguins are going to be shorthanded.
Yeah, it's going to be against ex-Leaf Gary Roberts, who is 2 points shy of 900 in his career. He's a Maple Leaf. Scored his 400th goal and is just one of 5 players in NHL history to record 400 goals and 2,000 penalty minutes. And if he doesn't be quiet, he's going to pick up another 2.
I think he just did.
Yeah, he's got 4. An ill-advised 4 minutes. Certainly the second 2 by Gary Roberts for lipping off.
What did he get a penalty for? He was pushed into the other player.
He's saying, take a look. He's pointing right now. Take a look up at the Jumbotron. And that's what I'm talking about. And referees aren't going to take any. Here's what you're talking about, Staggy, here. And there's Belak. He pushes Roberts into the man.
Roberts gets a penalty for that?
He did.
He did.
You can't win with referees. I try to tell the young guys that all the time, Stay. You just keep the mouth shut.
You got the extra 2, and so now the Penguins down 1-0. They're going to be shorthanded for the rest of this period and beyond. Ryan Malone able to backhand the puck down the ice.
Scuderi's looking for a penalty in Darcy Tucker. Scuderi just got knocked down from behind. He's yapping at the official.
Now Mark Eaton. Eaton has been so good for the Penguins. +7 in his last 6 games. He had 5 blocks last night. Notice he's wearing the A right now, an alternate captain with Gonchar out of the lineup. And Eaton has been a steady man back there in the blue line and has been rewarded in some ways because last night he was one of the stars of the game, so it was recognized that what a great job he did. Here's Jason Blake trying to bust around Brooks Orpik on his backhand. He takes a bump. A pretty heavy hit there by Ryan Whitney against Jason Blake. And down the ice the puck goes as Vesa Toskala sets it up behind the cage.
Leafs have really been, terrible to say the least on their power play over the last 4 hockey games today. They haven't got on their power play enough. They haven't scored goals enough. And right now they look good on the 5-on-5. Their poorest play is on the power play. There's a penalty.
Allowed 5 shorthanded goals. Maybe another one coming here. Crosby has a man go to the net to Malone, and he shoots it in the save made by Toskala. And there's a penalty coming up against Toronto.
Yeah, it could have almost been a penalty shot, to be honest with you. If you're the last man back and you take a penalty and the man's got a clear lane to the net, that wasn't the case. Oh, there he is. He's calling for it. He's calling for the penalty shot. From the blue line, he's saying. From the blue line on, the new rule. It used to be from center on, Staggy. And there he is. He's impeded on his way to the net. Was there anybody between them? Possibly they could say that Leaf coming back in the middle of the ice was going to cut Sidney Crosby off. That's the beef the official will have. And I'll tell you, Michael Therrien is looking for a penalty shot right now. The last 10 penalty shots in the National Hockey League, no goals. The goaltenders have really shut things down. Only 3 goals and 17 penalty shots this year. So it's from the blue line on. And there's the obstruction. Before the red line, could have easily been a penalty shot.
Right in front of the bench, too. That's why Therrien was so adamant about it. He had a real good look at it. Look at that. Right off the draw, Crosby gets into the net, and Toskala alertly makes the save. So it's even Steven right now with 37 seconds to go.
Uh-oh. That is a penalty.
Ian White is upended, and the puck comes to the glove of Sabourin from Hal Gill, and Toskala heads to the bench, but the Leafs are going to be right back on top here at the man advantage with 29.8 seconds left.
And that would be huge if they could get that second marker before the end of this first period. It'll be a 4-on-3 situation. Leafs have 13 shots fired towards Sabourin.
McCabe is in the box for Toronto. Gary Roberts and Evgeny Malkin in the box for Pittsburgh.
Michael Therrien trying to fire up his hockey club. Sidney Crosby's going here tonight. That's not enough.
Ian White for Caberlet. 4-on-3 for the Leafs. Matt Sundin to Caberlet to White. Back for Sundin. Caberlet. Shot. Save made. Rebound. Stahl tries to get to it, and he does. 11 seconds left. Penguins get up a break here. Colby Armstrong is going to be in a foot race with Matt Sundin. Colby cuts him off and just leaves it in behind the net. And time will expire here in the first period. So 1:15 to go on the penalty to McCabe. The Penguins are down a man. Here's the second period begins, and down a goal in this hockey game. Sabourin, a couple of big saves in this game, though. It could have been a lot worse, I think, in the first period.
Yeah, and the best saves were on the Leafs defensemen who have got active here in the offensive zone. The Penguins penalty killers were good. Danny Sabourin, the best penalty killer. And Toronto was 0 for 2 so far on their power play. 14 shots in the period. They have carried the play, minus Sidney Crosby, who's been terrific every time he's been on the ice.
Coming up during the intermission, Dan Potash is going to talk with Ryan Malone, who's the birthday boy, turning 28 today. Also a feature on former Penguin Darren Lowe. And our Around the NHL segment, the first one coming up. Toronto with a 1-0 lead. They'll have a power play when the second period begins. The Leafs had a little more jump than the Penguins. The Penguins played last night. They're going to have to find their legs here in Toronto. And Bob, I talked to Danny Sabourin today. I said, you working on anything different? He said, I'm trying to be more aggressive, come out more at the shooters on certain plays. And we saw a little bit of that, I thought, in the first period. More aggressive, attacking the puck, if you will, on some of those chances those defensemen had.
Well, I think, when there's pucks being passed from behind the goal line out to the slot area, you want to get a little more aggressive and try to cut that angle. He made some great saves. He had 14 shots against him in that first period. There's something right there. You push, you get that left push, left skate push, you get out more towards the shooter, take away that angle a little bit. You see how far he is. He is out, Staggy. The Leafs had 7 shots in the first period from the defenseman.
And there's the only goal scorer, and it's Mark Bell. And he finally gets on the board for Toronto. He, of course, went through that suspension because of the violation of the league's substance abuse policy after coming over in the big trade. And I talked to Bell today, Bob, and you know he's been pretty fortunate. You know who he played with in San Jose? His center iceman was Joe Thornton. Exactly. Now he's playing with Matt Sundin. Not too bad.
Not too bad at all. And you know, he's got one on the board now, so maybe that'll loosen him up a little bit. A lot of pressure on the young man and going through a lot of different issues. St. Paul's, Ontario, and certainly they need him to be a scorer. They need some secondary scoring here. Matt Sundin has done a great job, and when you're playing alongside Matt Sundin, you're counting on to score goals. You really are. I mean, Blake wasn't scoring, so they moved him off the line. Blake's playing alongside Kyle Wellwood here tonight, who really can distribute the puck, although he's only got 1 assist on the season, which really surprises me. Hasn't been in the you know, he was missed the first 15 with that sports hernia injury. But Matt Sundin, what can you say about him? 77 now, 78 points against the Penguins in his career.
And he's had points in every home game this year. It's a record for the Leafs. 15 straight home games with a point. And that breaks a record that was previously held by a guy named Babe.
Babe? That's a pig, isn't it?
That's Paul Maurice there. Here's Babe. Babe died. 24-25. He had points in the first 14. Look at Babe's hair. He's got a great hairdo, Bobby. Did you see it earlier? Oh, we don't have the other shot.
Oh, yeah. We'll maybe get a look at that later. I mean, that kind of looks like our producer.
Looks like Eddie Olczyk.
Hey, Lowell.
Here's Bell with it for Antropov. Caberlet. Sundin, and they work it around on top with the man in front, Antropov, screening goaltender Saber, and Caberlet doesn't shoot it. Bell does, and it's off the side of the cage. A shot off the heel of his stick, and the Penguins able to clear.
And they have the big Antropov, and he is a big man in front of the goaltender Saber and trying to provide that big body, that traffic.
Leafs are going to have a brief 2-man advantage. Sundin guns one wide of the goal. It comes to Adam Hall, and he's able to wrist it up and down the ice.
Yeah, the Leafs will have a 2-man advantage for about 15 seconds here as their penalty to McCabe will expire.
Here comes Caberlet for Matt Sundin, and the big Swede has a man wide open. Antropov, there he is, his shot. Bell there. Oh, and Sabrin got his glove down to stop Mark Bell, looking for his second goal as a Leaf. I think he just got his glove down. Not sure as Bell got a stick on it to direct it towards the goal.
He did, and I think that's why you always want to bury it right to the back of the net. Bell thought he had the open net and just had to shuffle it there, and that was second effort by the goaltender Sabrin. What a save.
Blake really motoring into the Penguin zone. 2-man advantage right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. McCabe with it. And it's up off the glass. And Wellwood trying to move it out. Here comes Malkin. He's back on the ice. Centering pass. Blake didn't get the pass there. They'll try again. Here's McCabe. Fires in. A good save by Sabrin again on the rebound. Jumps right past Darcy Tucker. Colby Armstrong knocks Tucker down. Tucker doesn't have a stick now. Penalties over to Gary Roberts. He's on the ice, and here come the Penguins with a chance here. Malkin has Armstrong to the net. Drops it back instead. And not anticipating that pass was eaten. And look at this. A 2-on-0. Kyle Wellwood with Blake. The shot. Score!
It was really a 3-on-0. McCabe could have joined that rush. Malkin makes a dump play, ill-advised in the offensive zone as the Penguins killed off the 5-on-4, killed off the 5-on-3, the 4-on-3. Malkin tries to make a play to the high slot. Eaton's going one way, and now the puck's going the other way. 3-on-0, 2-on-0, Wellwood over to Blake. Listen, Blake could have went back to Wellwood, could have done anything he wanted. It was a smart play by Blake. You get the shot away. You see Sabrin there. He's just left out to dry. He stayed in the middle of the net. He was thinking Blake may go back to Wellwood. Blake put the puck where you have to, upstairs over that right pad as Sabrin went post to post with the pillows. And finally, Jason Blake is on the board.
Well, you know, he looked at the schedule. He said, hey, I'm running dry. The Penguins are coming to town, though. It's his first goal in 19 games. He has 3 goals this year and 2 of them against Pittsburgh.
His shooting percentage was 1.7 coming into the game.
Penguins trying to get it right back. Christensen couldn't reach it. Orpik has it. He wrists it wide of the goal. Whitney wants to hold it in. Takes a piece of Steen on the far boards. Puck comes crazily off the corner wall. Taken there by Sikora. Now to Sidney Crosby. Crosby is bumped, but protects the puck beautifully. Gets some help. Christensen whips it to the goal, and it's wide of the net. He just missed the net there.
Boy, Koskela deep in his net there. Reminds you of Curtis Joseph a little bit as he fielded that Christensen shot.
Well, he gloves another one and hangs on to it. So the Penguins did dodge a couple of big bullets there as they were able to kill the penalties, but then Malkin, the last thing you want to do there with everybody swooping in like that is pass the puck back. Now you've got no help with the back door. It was almost a 3-on-0.
Yeah, it certainly could have been if McCabe wanted to join the rush. There's Christensen's shot. But talk about deflating. If you're the Penguins, you work so hard to kill the penalties off, and you get the job done, and then you make a turnover like that. Mark Eaton doesn't jump up on a lot of rushes. And if I'm Evgeny Malkin and I have 3 guys to pass it to, probably the last guy I want to try to get it to is Mark Eaton. Nothing against Mark Eaton. He's a defenseman. He's trying to back things up. He got a little too tight in that ruckus there. He should have stayed back, been a little more patient, I think. But, hey, listen, Malkin's in charge there. He's the man. He's in charge. He's got the puck. It was a bad decision.
Well, we saw one of the great offensive players in the history of the game do that the other night against New Jersey, Mike Madonna. A very similar thing where he threw the puck back with everybody going to the net, and the Devils went up and scored the game-winning goal. So, that happens to the best offensive players because they make offensive decisions sometimes, and they're not always the right ones.
Yeah, we saw Crosby do it last year in overtime against the Canadiens, and the puck when the game was over.
Sidor able to work the puck to the corner. McCabe is there. He hammers it off the boards, and the Leafs start back. Jason Blake is excellent jump here tonight for the Leafs as he goes to the bench after dumping it in. Sabourin set it up. The Penguins want a quick transition here if they can. Roberts just steers it in, though. He's got to go to the bench as well. Malkin comes right back on the ice for the Penguins along with George Laraque and Jarkko Ruutu. And Tropov with it. To Kaberle and now to Sundin. He lost control of it for a moment. And the Penguins have something going here. Malkin trying to get it to the net. It goes behind the cage to Laraque. For Ruutu and back to George Laraque. Laraque sheds off Sundin. Laraque turns it back for Malkin behind the net. Evgeny Malkin back for George Laraque. Nobody's in front of the net. Ruutu goes there now. Laraque has Malkin in front. Here's the pass to him, the shot, and it right in the feet of the defenseman Kronwall. Malkin gets it back. Malkin rubbed out there by Matt Sundin. Turns to the forehand, tried to set up Scuderi. Bell got a piece of that. Now Scuderi hustling over, but couldn't get it to Laraque. Laraque pushes Kaberle after he works the puck back to center. Now Mark Eaton takes control. The Leafs want to make a change here as Scuderi and Eaton team up. Both teams are changing ahead of the play. Ruutu didn't get it deep that time. Now he'll get another crack at it, but it comes right to Matt Stajan. He's out here with Ponikarovsky and Devereaux. The shot save made, and the rebound jumps right over the stick of Devereaux. And out of play.
I talked about how deflating it can be, and you give up a goal after killing all the penalties. Talked about the goaltender, Sabourin. What a save he made on Bell. Bell's looking for a second, and look at that. Just a stretch off the webbing of that glove, Danny Sabourin. He had nothing left in his body there. That was it. That was his last-ditch effort. Made a tremendous save, and then for the team to let him hang out dry at 2-on-0, maybe 3-on-0, it's not what you want to accomplish. Almost a good time to call a timeout. I'm not saying I would call the timeout, but I tell you, listen, how about a wake-up call here, boys? Your goaltender's sitting there making save after save. Let's bail him out here. Crosby's going to get a penalty, I think, isn't he?
No,
it's a hold.
It's a hold coming up here.
Okay, it wasn't, maybe Crosby got held, and that's why he tripped up the 6'7" Hal Gill. So Crosby's going to draw another penalty here. Here's the hold by Stajan, and that's why Crosby got upended. Sorry, as I was looking from one direction to another. Sidney Crosby's drawn a couple of penalties already in this hockey game tonight. And really, he is a premier performer on the ice for the Pittsburgh Penguins once again in this hockey game. He had 3 shots in the first period of play to match Thomas Kaberle's 3 shots for the Leafs.
Stajan in the box, and the Penguins need to get it right back here. Letang tried to pass it across for Whitney, and Sundin got a stick on that. Penguins' power play has been shut out 3 times in the last 5 games. 0 for 2 last night. Sidney Crosby trying to bust around Sundin. Throws it in front. The paddle down by Toskala. And the net dislodged in behind the Finnish goaltender of the Leafs. Play the Penguins Watch and Win sweepstakes tonight on FSN Pittsburgh. You could win a couple of tickets to an upcoming game at Mellon Arena. Here's what you do. You log on to PittsburghPenguins.com. You click the Watch and Win button to play along. Just enter your information and use tonight's keyword, which is goalpost.
I'm not sure I like this call. The faceoff's going to be offside. They say Sidney Crosby knocked that net off by going to the net. I thought the net was still on its moorings, and a Leaf knocked it off. So a good break here for the Toronto Maple Leafs with the faceoff outside the blue line on the penalty kill for Toronto.
Letang goes back to play it. Devereaux bears down on him. He pushes it along for Ryan Whitney. Letang just looks a little bit less confident here tonight than he's looked in the last couple of games. Maybe he can get it going here. Good pass there to Malone. He just throws it rink wide, and it comes right back to the defense of the Leafs.
Well, it's different here. Letang out with Whitney, and they're both playing opposite sides. You know, Whitney usually plays the left side, comes in back door. So everything's different, including the breakout for the Penguins power play. You can see that's a little discombobulated right now. It really is.
Malone couldn't stop the puck from coming up the glass and out. And Ryan Whitney has to go back and play it again with 57 seconds to go on the penalty to Matt Stajan. Here's a good pass to Malkin. Malkin pulls up, late man Whitney. Whitney swings around Antropov, looks at the net, fires, and a stick save made by Toskala. The rebound behind the net to Sikora. Sikora moves it along for Letang. Letang right back for Peter Sikora. Down low, Gary Roberts. Malkin trying to get open. Roberts looks for him and finds him. Malkin runs the half wall now for the Penguins on the power play to Whitney. Slap shot blocked. Antropov gives up his body. You can hear it thump off his shin guards all the way back into Penguin territory.
And that's surprising. Whitney doesn't do that too often, put his head down and not see a man coming across. That was a great block there by Antropov, but Whitney's usually got his head sitting up straight to where he can see and realize how much time he's got.
Now Brooks Orpik finds Ryan Whitney, who just feeds it to the corner. 8 seconds to go. On the penalty, the Penguins down by 2. Brooks Orpik moves it to the right side. Eaton with a wrister. Sador's shot, stop, rebound. Another save made by Toskala on Peter Sikora, and he's got the puck in his glove. Sikora had a great chance there, but Toskala somehow stopped the second opportunity as the penalty came to an end. It's 2-0 Toronto.
Well, you know, it's not easy being John Ferguson. The Toronto general manager has been under heavy fire here in Toronto, but it doesn't help when your boss doesn't back you. Richard Petty, president of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, telling the Toronto Sun Tuesday, quote, "To be honest, it was a mistake on my part for not fully understanding at the time what the job of being GM in this market fully entailed. Let's face it, it probably was the wrong place for a rookie GM to start." Yeah, we know how much scrutiny the Maple Leafs come under here in Toronto, but that's got to hurt. Guys, back up to you.
Yeah, and Fergie said afterwards, he said, that's just all background noise to me. We're just focused on the job at hand and trying to win hockey games. And by the way, the Leafs, as bad as they make it sound here, let's not forget they have the exact same point total as the Penguins coming into this game tonight. 24 points, and they're 3 points behind the 8th spot, which is the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
They're 1-6 in overtime. You know, you flip-flop back to 6-1. That's how close they are to being 14-11 on the season. I tell you, the difference between winning and losing in the game.
The big problem for them has been their home record. They're 4-5-5 at home, and so the folks watching them here in this building get frustrated, and the media scrutiny here is unprecedented. It's just unmatched, really, around the National Hockey League. There's nothing like it. Even in Montreal, where they have the French paper also. Now, McCabe takes control in his own zone. 12:03 to go, second period. Penguins have just not had the same edge to their game that they've had in recent outings, and came into this game not only with a 3-game winning streak, but also picking up points in 5 of their last 6. The Leafs are a more desperate team tonight, and you can just feel it, and all that tension created by ownership. And Bob, just from a player's perspective, when you hear the owner saying that kind of stuff, and you know that management is kind of at odds, what does that do to the players?
Well, I think it takes the focus away from the players, I think. I mean, as a player, you don't like to hear anything bad within your organization. The Penguins had a lot to deal with over the years with things like moving and stuff like that. So everything is a distraction. That is a huge distraction. It really takes the focus off these players here in Toronto.
Colby Armstrong looks for Ryan Whitney, throws it in front, and it goes right off the leg of Sidney Crosby or his stick and wide of the goal as he was hauled down again.
I think he tried to kick it in.
Mark Bell with it. There's a steal by Colby Armstrong. Great read ahead of Sidney Crosby. Got Malkin and Armstrong. Here's Sid shooting, and he fired it over the goal. Sid just got upended there. What happened? He got knocked down. He's hurting too as he gets himself up.
They're calling Toskala right now for a trip on Sidney Crosby as he went through the crease after the shot. You call the goaltender Toskala, so anybody on the ice can serve this penalty. Sidney Crosby decided he was going to take a shot here. He thought Toskala might go down. Boy, Toskala did a good job standing up, did he not? You see the left leg of Toskala go out and trip him? And earlier, Sidney Crosby went in. So he tried to kick it with the back edge of his skate as McCabe toppled him over and took his stick away. So, listen, Sidney Crosby's paying the price out in the ice here. And he looks hobbled. He looks a little, he's really grimacing on the Penguins bench right now as he was kicked by the goaltender Toskala.
Sneaky little play by the Finnish goaltender of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But Toskala really, oh boy, he really stood up tall on that, knowing that Sidney Crosby had a tough angle there being a left-handed shooter.
Bell is serving the penalty. Steen clearing the puck, and Sador will take it as center. Daryl Sador for Chris Letang. Up front on the power play, it's Sikora, Christensen, and Gary Roberts. Penguins need a power play right here. Power play goal. They're 0 for 1 with 2 shots with a man advantage. Having a tough time in the neutral zone, and a hand pass whistles the play down.
The sneaky little trip kick that you talked about, Staggy. Take one more look at it here. The left leg of Toskala, right? Boink! And there he goes. Toskala looked at him like, take that. Take that. This is my blue paint. You stay out of my house.
Well, I would have guessed that at some point tonight you would like to see maybe Vesa get repaid for that.
Well, we saw Sabrin be toppled by Darcy Tucker the last time we were in this building, and
got to go to the net. Got to go to the net.
Got to go to the net. The Penguins haven't paid that price to go to the net. Sidney Crosby has paid the price tonight. You see the indecision right there between Letang and Whitney. It's like, who's going to take this puck up? Who is supposed to? Without Gonchar on the ice, a different power play.
Roberts for Christensen. Christensen has the puck, trying to pull the trigger. Can't do it, but Sikora has control. Sikora bothered by Devereaux. Devereaux hacking away. And Sikora maintains possession of the puck. Gary Roberts trying to grab a handle on it. Here he is. His shot is stopped by Toskala with a stick. Now Whitney comes in the back door. Pass too hard for Sikora. Comes around for Christensen. To Letang and right back to Eric Christensen. Christensen wrister right to the net. Oh, and deflected wide of the goal. Looked like it off the post by Gary Roberts.
Yep, crossbar. Roberts looking for number 2. He's only got 1 on the season.
Now it's taken by Christensen, and Tropov hits him from behind. Knocked him down, no penalty on the play. Sikora works it back to the point. Letang, left side of Whitney. Whitney slap shot, and Toskala takes it on the logo. And there's Gary Roberts right in front of the net again as Toskala stops play.
Really surprised Whitney shot that puck. There was no traffic there, and he was at a bad angle. There was nothing to be gained, I don't think, by that shot. Here's the earlier chance. There's the redirect, stick-on-stick crossbar. Right over the shoulder of the small 5', 10-foot Toskala. Look at that. It kind of almost toppled. It went up and went down, almost like a basketball shot. Just a slow rolling deflection off the stick of Roberts.
McCabe and Roberts go to the box. 36 seconds remaining on the penalty to Vesa Toskala. Sidney Crosby's back on the ice for Pittsburgh. Out here with Colby Armstrong and Evgeny Malkin, Whitney and Letang at the points. Crosby against Sundin. Both of them win about 55% of their draws, and Sundin won that one cleanly. Big face-off win for Toronto. And the Penguins have to go all the way down the ice and regroup on the power play with 25 seconds to go on the penalty. Ryan Whitney stick handling. Whitney still has it, and a shot. Again, right to the logo of Vesa Toskala.
How good are the Penguins right now? I mean, they've won 3 in a row. They beat 2 backup goaltenders. They caught Atlanta when they were tired. They caught Dallas. Didn't look like they were interested, and they were tired on a road trip. How good are the Penguins right now? How do they judge themselves against the rest of the league? Now they get a chance to play against a rested Toronto team, unlike they've had in the last couple of hockey games, Staggy. I think you can see some of the wear on their players, and I think the jury's still out.
Now it's taken by Hal Gill. Well, the one thing the Penguins did get this whole thing rolling by showing a lot of character and coming from behind twice against the Ottawa Senators. They'll have to come from behind in this one to win. They're down 2-0. Certainly they've done it before here in Toronto.
And now the Senators have lost 6 in a row. How good were they that? The question is, got to be poked.
Now Ryan Whitney has control of it, and Whitney with that head up, headmans the puck right up the middle and over the stick of Colby Armstrong and back to Wisniewski. Penguins fail to score on a second power play chance. Icing the call here as Mark Eaton touches up, and we will take a break. So the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 2-0 lead, and 9 minutes remaining in the second period.
Well, Toronto scored a lot of goals, but they've also given up a lot of goals and blown a lot of leads. They're up 2-0 in this one. Can they hang on? I don't know, but if this man has something to say about it, the Penguins will get back into this hockey game. He's only been held off the scoreboard 2 times the whole season. And Sidney Crosby's 5 points now behind LeCavalier. He's got 2 points today. Our USMarines.com leaders.
Malkin held scoreless only once in his last 17. Sid only once in his last 23. They have 65 points between them, more than the other 7 forwards below them combined in the Penguins roster right now. That's how much of a force Crosby and Malkin have been racking up the points for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here's Malkin again, but it's poked away from him, and Jason Blake takes off. Left side to Steen. Letang cut him off, and the Penguins quickly move it the other way. Malkin's wide open. Malone feeds him a little too far that time. Malkin will get there, just poke it to the near corner for Malone. Ryan Malone of the Penguins. Hit by Ian White. Crosby comes off the wall with the puck to Malkin. Back for Sid. It went between his legs to Werpik. A drive and a blocker save made by Toskala. Malone chips it off the corner boards. Hit a partition there and came right to Matt Sundin.
Well, if things aren't going well, it doesn't take Terrian long to change his lines, and Armstrong wasn't out there with the top unit. It was Malkin and Crosby back together.
Now it's Nick Antropov with it. Sundin centering pass. Sabrin had no idea where the puck was. It hit something and flipped right up over the glass to the near side, and Danny Sabrin was looking around for the puck.
Yeah, and Sundin's pointing at the goaltender. One of the new rules, the goaltender can't bat the puck out of the air into the crowd. And Danny Sabrin certainly, he didn't even know where the puck was. And the first goal that Bell scored here tonight, he had no idea where that shot was as Eaton was trying to block the shot in front of his goaltender.
21 shots for the Leafs, 18 for the Penguins in this game so far. 8:07 to go, second period. Kaderi risks it up the boards. And Ruutu chipped it ahead where Tyler Kennedy will race in. Around Caberlet. Kennedy really good on the boards. Out here with Jordan Staal. Kennedy, not a big guy, but he protects the puck very well. Chad Kilger just knocks him right down, but Staal steps in. Jordan Staal trying to come out of the corner with it. Here he is. Jordan Staal trying to come to the net. Kennedy had a stick on it for a moment, but now Caberlet lifts his stick and moves the puck out to Mark Bell. The Chad Kilger who dumps it up into the Penguin zone. Sabrin out of the net. With miscommunication there, Wade Belak stole it away. Staal knocked the man down in front of the goal. He's going to get a penalty. Jordan Staal interfered with one of the Leafs in front of the net after Sabrin had a problem behind the goal handling the puck with Wade Belak bearing down on him.
A little indecision there. Communication between a backup goaltender and his defense. There was certainly miscommunication there, and Danny Sabrin didn't move the puck, and that resulted in that penalty that Staal took on Chad Kilger. Chad Kilger, he doesn't mind playing against the Penguins either. He's had some great nights against Pittsburgh, and now it's that Toronto power play that's really been floundering over the last 5 hockey games back on the ice.
Right off the draw, it comes to Caberlet to McCabe.
No stick. Look out for Hall. It's essentially a 5-on-3.5 out here right now.
McCabe with it. Caberlet, McCabe, one-timer and a good pad save by Sabrin, but the rebound right to the stick of Thomas Caberlet. Sends it around to the near side. Bob, when you look at the Leafs and what they've got back there on the blue line and with Sundin, you would think that their power play would be ranked a lot higher than 29th. They've got some pretty good talent out there, especially at the points with Caberlet and McCabe.
Yeah, McCabe's made a living out here on the power play.
Caberlet again. McCabe fires off the outside of the post. Kyle Wellwood takes it to the near side for McCabe.
They're using Hall here. This is real trouble. They've gone to a diamond, the Penguins, with Hall up top and 3 men in deep.
McCabe again looks at the net, works it down low. Back up top, Tucker to McCabe, and he fires it high and wide, and it's off the corner glass and all the way back to center ice where Caberlet will take it for Toronto.
Just what the doctor ordered. Hall is able to get off, and the Penguins get us changed and get 4 killers on him.
Here comes Sundin. Sundin looks at the net, and behind the cage is a man wide open. Caberlet instead goes to McCabe, and it took off on him right into the netting. Sidney Crosby pointing that the faceoff should come out because he didn't get a stick on it. It just took off on Brian McCabe.
every time I watch a Leaf game, I see Matt Sundin. Every time he's on the ice, he's got the puck. I look at his ice time, and it says 19:03 average ice time. I can't believe it. To me, it seems like this guy's killing penalties on the power play. Real good 5-on-5. He's a +8 in that category, Staggy. And I can't believe that his minutes are that low. To me, he looks like a 25-minute-a-night guy.
Scuderi flushes the puck up the wall for Malone. The pass for Crosby, jumps over his stick. Ian White back to play it. And Sid in on the forecheck now on the penalty kill. When Sid's out here killing penalties, it changes the whole feeling on the other side, I'm sure. But Jason Blake jumping into the offensive zone. Slams on the brakes and finds Ian White. Back to Blake, looking to the net. Works it down low. Centering pass. McCabe right there. His shot. Score! And Tropov deflected it in for his first goal in 11 games.
Yeah, I think it was the big body of Antopov right in the blue paint. Just off to the left side of Danny Sabourin. McCabe, he couldn't hit the net. He tried at the start of the power play. And this one here, he found the body. I think it was the body of number 80, Antopov, sitting off the left side. Watch as the shot come in. It was redirected. I think it went off the leg of Antopov and in behind Danny Sabourin.
Good pass by Connor Karofsky to make it up top to McCabe. You see how far in McCabe was there? He was right in the slot coming in from his defensive position. Walked right into a perfect shooting area and ripped that puck to the goal with Antropov from Kazakhstan. Standing there like a big oil derrick. That's what they have in Kazakhstan. You know, they got oil there, Bobby.
I hear you. They're going to take a look to see if this one was kicked in. High stick, a glove, perhaps. It looked like it went off the inside of his right knee, perhaps. Did it hit something before that? Did it hit his glove? Did it hit his stick? Watch as the shot comes in from McCabe. Right in the top of the screen, you're going to see the defense of McCabe release it. Now there, Antopov comes into the screen. There, look, it hit the right knee to me. His right knee, it went in behind Danny Sabourin. So I don't think there's any question that it's going to be Toronto 3 and Pittsburgh nothing. Pittsburgh have been dominated by Toronto in the last two hockey games. Certainly that one in Pittsburgh, I thought the Leafs played perhaps their best road game of the season in winning that one. And here tonight, Staggy, all this stuff and the hoopla you hear about Toronto struggling, they look pretty good, don't they?
Penguins need to get it right back. Malkin in there. The Penguins need to play with a little bit more desire right now. You just don't feel it coming from the ice. The Leafs are the team right now with more energy. It seems like they've got a little more want-to in their game. Malkin goes down as Hal Gill sends it in behind the cage for Ian White. And Tropov is 10th of the year for McCabe and Ponikarovsky.
Well, the defense in Toronto have really been involved in this hockey game, getting a lot of shots from not only the blue line, but from in tight.
Here goes Stahl. Stahl trying to bring it to the net. Lost the puck and is swept away by Toskala. Kyle Wellwood takes it. Tried to pass it across and it hit a Penguin. Comes right back to the Leafs. Kronwall able to dump it up into the Penguin zone. Brooks Orpik back to play it. Tucker whacks him with a stick. Wellwood steals for Blake. One-timer. Bad save made by Sabourin.
Great pass there by Wellwood, was it not? I mean, talk about Blake being in the right position.
Orpik took a hit behind the play. Stahl in after the puck against McCabe. Stahl takes it there and leaves it behind the net for Tyler Kennedy. He's got a man open. Orpik instead he shoots it in a save made rebound. Stahl can't get to the rebound.
Well, they called McCabe here. McCabe can't believe it. He put his hands up as the man went behind the net. Nonetheless, McCabe will be in the box. The Pens with a chance to get on the board. Now this man here has been the centerpiece of much of the hoopla in the media. Brian McCabe has taken his share of criticism this season on the blue line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But he's a hard-working guy. He's signed a big contract, and they want him to live up to that contract. Still putting up good numbers, Brian McCabe. He's in the penalty box right now. Penguins have a chance. This is a time maybe to get back into this thing.
Letang shoots it and it's blocked. Good block there by Stajan, and the rebound comes all the way to center where Sundin will take it. Whitney's the only man back, and the shot wide of the goal by Sundin comes off the corner boards all the way to the blue line. Christensen has Devereaux all over. You know, the Leafs are really playing with a lot of energy. Their penalty killers have really been aggressive. Devereaux in particular, not giving the Penguins much time to make plays. There's another good defensive play there by Boyd Devereaux. And the puck up the glass Nice play there by Wisniewski to get it back into the Penguin zone. Letang again with Devereaux. It's just like he's on you, and you can just tell the Penguin defensemen are feeling a little nervous and a little hurried with their plays because of it. Malkin now. Malkin trying to do it himself as he was surrounded by 4 jerseys. Wisniewski for Hal Gill behind the net. Up the boards it goes, and Letang will keep it from going all the way down the ice. A minute 3 to go on the penalty to McCabe.
Yeah, they just haven't had anything to feed off, Pittsburgh, in this hockey game. They haven't had the big hit. They haven't had the goal. Nothing really to get that momentum going.
Letang. Malkin trying to gain possession of the puck. Can't do it, and it's cleared again by Hal Gill. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it just seems like they're not able to establish any kind of an edge physically in this game. They seem to be on their heels and have felt that way right from the start of the game. Peter Sikora with it. Gary Roberts. Hal Gill backhands it around him to the near side of Wisniewski, and the Leafs just walk right out of their own zone. Staging with it. He'll dump it in.
See how they've done it? They've gone wide D to D behind their net to get out. It's a set play defensemen have. Just a little yell, a little communication, and they go wide D to D and then out the other side.
Penguins dump it in again on the power play, and Gary Roberts would have had to have been the first man there to get it, and he just couldn't get there. He was out of gas anyway. He goes to the bench. Penguins just not getting good entries into the offensive zone on the power play at all. They come up empty again.
Remember, the Penguins didn't skate this morning. The only player that's in this hockey game that was on the ice this morning was Danny Sabrin. And he's been solid enough for the Pittsburgh Penguins in this game.
Sundin, his feet moving very quickly as he goes around Sador. Sundin centers one off a stick. Taken now by Caberlet to Sundin to Caberlet in front. Tucker couldn't tee it up, and Sador tried to move it out for George Laraque, and the Leafs again with a great forecheck. Keep the puck in the offensive zone. Caberlet looking for a lane. Goes to Ian White. Darcy Tucker comes up high to help Ian White, who carries in deep, and his shot hit something in front. Sundin got a stick on it. Now Stahl comes over. George Laraque wants the puck. Stahl will take it. Can he get it out? And Laraque couldn't clear. Held in by White. Look out. Here he comes. Right down the slot. In front. Blake a shot save. Rebound. Tucker poked at him. And Sabrin has it underneath him.
Fistful of leather for Jason Blake, who's sniffing around that net, looking for number 2 on the night. And boy, a couple of turnovers by the Penguins in that gray area, right by that blue line, not getting the puck up. White wanted to pass it to his left. It was taken away. The Penguins did a good job, kind of a tandem defense, if you will, on the 3-on-2. The 2 defensemen in line. And Danny Sabrin closing the door at the backside. Boy, this could be 4-0 going in.
Penguins do get it out this time. Ryan Malone was knocked down. Colby Armstrong coming into the offensive zone. Has Malone with him. Adam Hall on the ice as well. It's Colby Armstrong, Ryan Malone, and Adam Hall on the ice. Steen holds off Colby Armstrong. Hall takes the puck. Matt Stajan takes it away from him, and back come the Leafs. Devereaux with it. Pass behind Stajan. Kaderi knocks it away from Stajan. Steen, though, pokes it to Stajan in front for Devereaux. These guys have been outstanding. The lunch pail gang of the Leafs have come to work here tonight.
Exactly.
Colby Armstrong pokes it in. Sidney Crosby jumps on now. He wasn't out there with his regular line mates, Malone and Colby Armstrong. It was Adam Hall on the ice.
No, the bingo balls are going right now, Staggy, and rightfully so. They got to find somebody to go with Sidney Crosby because he's the man that's going in this hockey game. You got to find somebody who can match his foot speed if you can. And then maybe Tyler Kennedy's the man to do that. He's on his right wing.
Penguins down by 3 with only 12 seconds to go in the second period. Crosby overskates the puck. Sador does the same thing. And an offside call. 6.6 to go. The Leafs coming off a win at Atlanta. They allowed only 20 shots in that game. And a couple of times this year they've had good wins, but then they've kind of fallen flat on their faces right after that. But tonight, after winning in Atlanta and an overtime loss where they worked very hard against Montreal here at home in the midst of all that turmoil, starting with ownership, tonight they're putting their best foot forward. And this could be a turning point in their season.
That Montreal game was a tremendous game. Sundin scored a game-tying goal in the final seconds, and he was flying in that hockey game, so they're putting a lot of effort into their game.
Malkin with it. Centers for Crosby, and good read there by Sundin to break it up as the time expires here in the second period.
The big Swede's got his team going, and Jason Blake is back on the board. Toronto seemed to have this one in hand, although they have blown 10 leads this season. See if Pittsburgh have that comeback capability like they did against the Ottawa Senators, coming back twice from 2-goal deficits. They're going to have to do a better job on their power play and get more shots towards Toskala.
Penguins. Dan Potash will talk with Jason Blake in a moment. Paul Alexander in the FSN Pittsburgh studios, and what you've missed on tap in the second intermission. Bell snaps it back to the point. Gill with a shot. Sundin tried to get a stick on it. Cleared up the boards, but not a lot on it there. And Bell shoots and scores. Art Bell gets his first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf injury. He backhands it down deep for Antropov. Whitney tries to cross-check in. Centering pass. And a good save by Sabourin on Thomas Caberlet, who came in the back door.
Pretty good argument.
Here's a chance. Oh, a blast. And Sabourin just got a piece of that heavy slap shot.
And right now, they look good on the 5-on-5. Their poorest play is on the power play. There's a
They've allowed 5 shorthanded goals. Maybe another one coming here. Crosby has a man go to the net. Maloney shoots it in the save made by Toskala. Here come the Penguins with a chance here. Malkin has Armstrong to the net. Drops it back instead. And not anticipating that pass was eaten. And look at this. A 2-on-0. Kyle Wellwood with Blake. The shot. Score! Ian White. Back to Blake. Look at the net. Works it down low. Centering pass. McCabe right there. His shot. Score! And Antropov deflected it in. Well, just a tough night for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kind of shooting themselves in the foot on a couple of those goals, Bob. And look at Malkin, not able to get the puck up the wall. Comes right to Bell. He guns it into the net. You look at the 2-on-0 that was handed to them by Evgeny Malkin. Malkin having kind of a tough night on the ice for a couple of goals against, as they say up here in Canada.
Yep.
The Penguins have to find a way to generate their own offense here.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. And there's no reason for them being a little bit sluggish. They weren't on the ice this morning. Didn't get in that late last night. In third period goals allowed, you see Toronto right there, well above the league average of 23.3. They're at 31 third period goals allowed. So, you know, is there hope for the Penguins? Certainly there is. You're playing against really a team that's been able to blow 10 leads. They haven't been able to close the door. You're playing here in front of this media throng in Toronto. Everybody's a little bit nervous. And you got Sidney Crosby on the other side. They got a guy that can turn the game around single-handedly. But it's going to be tough. And a guy like Evgeny Malkin certainly has to pick up his game. The Penguins have gone back to their original unit here. Looks like Sidney Crosby will start the third period alongside Armstrong and Ryan Malone.
Brooks Orpik and Ryan Whitney, the defense pairing for the Penguins. Matt Sundin out here with his regular left winger, Alexei Ponikarovsky. He had Bell on that line, but Ponikarovsky had been out with an injury to his ankle. He returns tonight, and Paul Maurice said he probably would spot him up there with his regular line mate, Matt Sundin, and he's out there right now with him. Sundin's got the puck, pulls up, lets it go, and a blocker save made by Sabourin. Ryan Whitney with the rebound, sends it around the horn. Malone reaches in for it against Antropov, sent it out over the line, dumped back in, an offside call coming up here. Delayed offside as Ryan Whitney now brings it out to center. Ahead to Sidney Crosby. Crosby can't pull the trigger. Devereaux interrupted that. He tried again and it was blocked. Sid continues to work. Crosby trying to get it done here in the first minute. Oh, he got plastered in the corner by Brian McCabe. Here comes Alex Steen. He'll slap one. Pad stopped by Sabourin, and the rebound over the near side where Whitney will wind it around. Ian White races over to the loose puck. He's sandwiched between two Penguins, Orpik and Malone. Down low, it's Alex Steen. Orpik confronts him, shrugs him off, and now Stajan has control of the puck. Christensen hits him from behind a couple of times. Slaps the puck up the board. Devereaux is there. Devereaux lifts it back to the corner off the glass. Taken to Ryan Whitney, and Whitney wants to get it to Ryan Malone, and Malone has a lot of time and space this time and lifts it ahead. Christensen looks for the puck, but it's knocked away from him by defenseman Hal Gill. Darcy Tucker pulls up at center and dumps it in, stays on the ice. Mark Eaton with it, up the wall for Gary Roberts, who swings it rink wide for Tyler Kennedy. Now to Rob Scuderi, and ahead for Kennedy, and the pass does not connect. Wisniewski moving it back to the Penguin line, and Scuderi right back to Tyler Kennedy. Darcy Tucker on him. Penguins go to the opposite side now. Eaton having trouble with the puck. Both teams are changing ahead of the play as Scuderi just shoots the puck around the horn. And an icing call. They're going to bring it all the way back into the Penguin zone. Well, Bob, that first shift for Sidney Crosby, you could just tell he was on a mission there to see if he could just make something happen on the very first shift of the period.
Yeah, but he's going to have to go against 2 or 3 Leafs every time he touches the puck, and you saw McCabe come in there late. So they're doubling up on him. Look, there's McCabe, then you're going to get another man join the ruckus. So he's fighting 2-3 guys every time he fights the puck. Where are the other black jerseys supporting Sidney Crosby? In that picture right there, when we stopped it, there was not another black jersey around. I mean, this isn't a one-man team, and the Penguins all have to unite and get in here. As an icing call, a broken line for the Penguins. It looked like Christensen was centering this line with Roberts and Kennedy. He went off the ice, and let's see who joins Jordan Staal as the Penguins gain possession.
Well, a good play there as Antropov got over, but Gary Roberts will try to cover up. And Staal let it go. Up the ice it goes, and Caberlet racing over. Backhands it ahead for Antropov. Now to Ponikarovsky. To Sundin. Couldn't take the pass. Letang looks for it. Letang poking it up the boards. Roberts chips it right back in behind the net. Daryl Sidor snaps it up the boards off the stick of Tyler Kennedy. One thing I've noticed right from the start of this game, the Leafs have been very good in the neutral zone. Interrupted the flow of the Penguins several times. Letang shot sticked away by Toskala. Now Malkin after it to the corner. Wins the battle for the puck against Kronwall, and it's Sidor wristing it behind the net. Right to Malkin. Kenny Malkin hit by Kronwall. Continues to battle for the puck behind the cage. Staal there as well, along with Caberlet. Malkin. Nobody's in front of the net. Now Staal goes there. Here comes Sikora with a shot, and he couldn't pull the trigger as his pocket was picked on the play by Matt Stajan, who outlets to Steen and now to Devereaux. Devereaux looks for a man trailing. It's Stajan with a drive and a save by Savard. The rebound poked at by Devereaux, and it didn't get through. And the Penguins clear it. Sikora working at the center. Hal Gill tripped up Malkin, who needs to go to the bench.
And that's what I was looking for when I mentioned the line. Staal now back with Evgeny Malkin.
Sundin shot. Big pad stop. Rebound 2. And the Leafs end up with it again. Steen backhands it to the corner. Orpik beats Sundin over to the puck, but couldn't get it up the boards. And Antropov for Sundin. Wraparound attempt. Sabrin there with a stick. Pushes it back towards Ponikarovsky. And finally, Sabrin able to freeze it underneath his blocker. In partnership with the Penguins of the NHL, Warner Home Video has introduced a collector's edition DVD of the Pittsburgh Penguins' 10 greatest games. Relive the greatest games in Penguins history as voted on by you, the fans. Purchase your copy of Pittsburgh Penguins' 10 greatest games, available on DVD right now. Right off the draw, McCabe, wrister, stick save made by Sabrin. He's done a good job. Sabrin has of directing pucks away from the net. Here comes Sidney Crosby, trying to get around the defense, and the puck wandered off his stick, and Toskala quick with his stick to poke it to the near boards. Now Sid without a stick, going to play soccer out here. Look at this. Just threw his shoulder into the defender. Caberlet continues to try to play without a stick here. Crosby picks up his stick and controls the puck on the boards. And unbelievable. Now Colby Armstrong with it. And he lost it to Sundin. Brooks Orpik forces it to the corner. Thrown to the net, right around the cage, and sent right back to the point. Whitney wrists it right back behind the net. Orpik is there. Colby Armstrong from Malone, a shot at Toskala, a little off balance, able to make that save. Adam Hall with it to the point. Orpik has it. Orpik looks at the net. His slap shot missed the net. Whitney there, and he couldn't get a lot on it as he tried to backhand it towards the cage. Cleared back to center ice. Sidney Crosby, without a stick, was able to regain control of the puck, pick up his stick, and then control the puck after that. Now it's Eaton wristing it towards the net. Blocked. Adam Hall backhand shot. Traffic in front. And there's going to be a penalty on the Penguins, I think, for interfering with the goaltender.
I think so. I definitely agree with that. I think Ruutu just...
It was Ruutu, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he just tried to ride bareback on the back of...
I saw the 7.
Toskala.
Who that was flopping in there.
I don't know if they have horse racing, but there's the jockey Ruutu in Finland, and he just jumped right on top of the goaltender Toskala, and Toskala was just smothered by Ruutu. They're trying anything to get the puck by the goaltender.
So Ruutu in the box, and the Penguins are going to have to kill a penalty. And delay their effort to try to get back into this game on offense here. Toskala has done a good job tonight.
That last faceoff, Staggy, very peculiar faceoff. Toskala gets his mask back on, but we saw it last night. Look at Whitney's in the corner here. There's only one defenseman, Orpik, in front of the net. Both Penguins are going out to this faceoff. And look, that leaves two Leafs right in front of the net with one defenseman. I just don't know why Ryan Whitney is on the boards in the defensive faceoff position. He has no need to be there. He's not checking anybody there.
Puck squirts free. Scuderi sends it up the boards, and McCabe there on his backhand works it back and down low for Kyle Wellwood, who kicks it to Tucker and now to Blake. Eaton has it now for the Penguins. Has a little bit of time and finds the lane to get it all the way down the ice. Leafs are 0 for 3 on their Leafs are 1 for 4, I should say, on the power play with 6 shots. Malkin with it now, surrounded, coming short-handed, a shot, and a save by Toskala. He got it back to the net, and Toskala ready for that. Great rush by Malkin that time, killing a penalty.
That would have turned the hockey game around.
So now he gets a chance to kill some penalty time. Here's Blake shooting. Malkin right there on the puck again, and here he goes.
And here comes 3 Penguins.
Colby Armstrong short-handed. Curling with a puck, throwing it to the net. Toskala the save, and Malkin overskates the rebound.
Appropriate word, curling up in Canada, Staggy. Very nice.
About Malkin, you see what kind of a force he can be now killing penalties. We've talked about Sid, but Malkin killed penalties a lot in Russia.
There's a lot of open ice there, and sometimes you have the offensive players, certainly offensive players on the ice for the Leafs. Malkin took advantage of it.
Sundin out to Ian White. Sundin and Antropov work the corner. Sidney Crosby out here to kill the penalty now. Scuderi rips it out to center. Malone trying to get to it. Here's a good play by Malone. Here he comes, in on goal, a shot. Save made again by Toskala. He stood up to stop Malone on that. Short-handed bid.
What a trapper save by Toskala. Nice speed by Malone. The chip around White. Took his speed right into the net. Toskala did not make the first move. He was very patient, stood up. What a trapper save.
Here are the Penguins again coming to center. Tyler Kennedy out here. He's at full strength as the puck comes to the Leafs line. Hal Gill. Send it right back. Sador. Tortured there by Devereaux and still able to get the puck ahead. Now Toskala will just glove the puck and hold on to it, and we'll get a face-off in the Leafs zone.
Well, first it was Malkin, and then it was Malone on his birthday looking for a little present. Sorry. There's Evgeny Malkin on the left, Malone on the right. Malkin does not have a short-handed goal in his career. He was looking for his first as he split a forward and a defenseman. Denied by the goaltender once and twice. Malone had a chance. He's got 9 short-handed goals in his career. Poked it around White. Denied on his birthday by Toskala, who stood tall here tonight.
Now see, Toskala goes down on just about every shot, it seems, until that. And then he stands up and stops Brian Malone on a breakaway. He's been outstanding here tonight. Vesa Toskala. The Finnish goaltenders are making their mark in the National Hockey League. Here's Boyd Devereaux. Now to Steen, a drive. Kicked out of there by Savern to the near boards. And taken now by Jordan Stahl. Stahl snaps it out on right wing. Malkin crunched by Hal Gill, who has the puck. Sikora, Stahl, and Malkin on the ice.
6'7" and 255 pound. Hal Gill with the biscuit.
Hal Gill let it go through, and Antropov slaps it off the heel of his stick right to the goal, and Sabrin able to freeze it. They ran a hilarious thing on the Jumbotron here during the break. It was the top 10 worst haircuts in Toronto Maple Leafs history, and they have all these old pictures of old Leafs back in the heyday.
Babe, they had Babe. He was number 9.
Yeah, they had Babe Dye up there. He was number 9, but here comes the hit on Malkin by Hal Gill.
We're looking for the Subway sandwich of the game, and we're looking for a good one here, Staggy, and that's a candidate. I had a Subway sandwich today, by the way, a little tuna.
Here's Sundin. Shot save, rebound, and Antropov can't hammer it home. It squirts free. Colby Armstrong can't get it out. Sundin strong on the puck. Now Colby reads the pass for Antropov and steals. As Malone with him. Colby Armstrong to the net, save made, rebound, score! Ryan Malone. It went off his right leg into the net behind Toskala. Colby Armstrong slithering down the wing, got the puck to the goal. Perfect timing for the rebound on Malone. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are on the board. It's a 3-1 game with 11:45 to go in the third period.
So the birthday boy does get one. And it was going to the net. Just shuffle the puck in. Toskala should not allow this rebound to come out. That was a poor rebound. And they're going to go upstairs to see if it went off a glove or it was armed in by that arm of Ryan Malone. They would definitely take a look at this in the war room. And he just went to the net. Play is under review right now. And he's going to say, no, my momentum just carried that puck in. And that's why you go to the net. And they'll quickly look at it in the war room. Talked to Kay Whitmore today. He is in the war room looking at this right now. I think he'd be looking at the Canadian telecast though. And see the right arm? Not quite sure there. Couldn't see it come off the black jersey. And if he had been wearing white on the road like he's supposed to, Staggy, we get a little bit better look at it here.
Watch what Colby Armstrong does here. He starts this whole play. Colby starts this whole play right here. Nice little steal there. Ponikarovsky trying to pass the puck to Antropov. Turns defense into offense. A little delay there. A little buy time and space with the change of speed. And gets it to the net. Waits for Malone to get there. And boom, into the goal it goes. Now, is it a goal?
Yeah, it went off the leg. You can see right there, the right knee, the right thigh of Ryan Malone.
Number 8. Now, see, we've planted the seed, Bob. We planted the seed. We talked about the blown leads. The goals allowed in the third period by the Leafs. Now here are the Penguins finally on the board. Is it the start of another comeback? We'll find out in a moment. What kind of momentum the Penguins can get from that goal by Ryan Malone.
Yeah, they've had nothing to really draw from this whole hockey game, and if they have anything, it's going to be right now.
Malone has 4 goals in his last 4 games. Christensen ahead for Tyler Kennedy, and now to Gary Roberts. Roberts closes in his backhand. Cross-crease pass. Flagged down by Eaton. Behind the net for Caberlet. Kennedy able to hip him, and now Christensen with a shot of the save made. Kennedy tried to bank one in. Roberts had a stick on it, but the Leafs start back. Only Tyler Kennedy, a pest in there around that cage. Here comes Jason Blake, speaking of pests. Trying to get around Scuderi. Throws it off the side of the goal, loose around the net. And was just cleared to the corner, and the Leafs end up with it again. Now Mark Eaton will take control. Ends it up the boards, right to Ian White. Wrists it back to the net, block, and cleared back to center ice by Eric Christensen. And the Leafs dump it right back into the Penguin zone. Scuderi with the long pass for Eaton. Steen pressuring him. Scuderi on his backhand. Stajan comes over, gets a piece of it. Devereaux floats one wide of the goal. Now Eaton hits Steen, and you see these lunch pail guys again. Stajan, Steen, and Devereaux. They've had a great game tonight. Malkin with it though. Sikora and Malkin. Stahl trailing. And he can't control the puck. Devereaux again back, knocks down Jordan Stahl. Sidora works it behind the net. Stahl back on his skates. Dances around Wisniewski. Loses the puck, and there's Devereaux again for Stajan, and he's able to get it. No, he can't get it out. Sikora dumps it back to the corner. Ian White has it. For Wisniewski. Letang pinched on the boards. Got the puck in. Malkin and pokes it down to the corner. Ian White right there.
What a great shift. Offense versus defense here. Great unity and great support by not only the offensive players who came up the ice for Pittsburgh, but the defensive players in the Leafs who are getting the puck out.
Turnover by the Penguins. Antropov fakes a shot. Has Sundin to the net. Throws it in front. And Malone. Great back check. Stole the puck. And here goes Sidney Crosby to Malkin. Back to Sid on the wing. Malone goes to the net. Sid curls up. Looks for the trailer. Nothing there. Stolen by Ponikarovsky. Alexei Ponikarovsky, Sundin, and he fires it wide of the goal on the glove side of Sabourin. Now Orpik is tripped up by Ponikarovsky, but Orpik stays with it and works it back to the far corner to Whitney. He tried a long pass there, knocked down by Wellwood, but right to Colby Armstrong. And Armstrong comes ahead for the Penguins, again slithering as he's hit on the near boards by Caberlet.
He didn't slither enough. Boy, Caberlet closed on him quickly. That's that ability, that skating ability Thomas Caberlet possesses.
Colby tried to work it to the corner. Caberlet there again. Finds Kyle Wellwood. Malone steals it from him. Malone couldn't find the puck again, though, as Caberlet chopped it to the far wall. And out it comes to center.
And you sense the pace here. It's been heightened here since the Penguins got that one on the board.
Caberlet cruising with the puck. Moves it on the wing. Carried with authority into the attacking zone by Kyle Wellwood. Throws it to the net, and Blake was going there. Sabourin reached out and grabbed it with a glove. The Penguins do have some life, but they're still down by 2 with 8:28 to go.
Well, we just told you that the Maple Leafs have trouble holding leads in the third period, and let's give you the numbers to back that up. 9-11-6 overall, but lost 11 of 19 games when leading or were tied after 2 periods. In that third period, they've been outscored, they've been outshot, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, early this year when we were here, game was tied at 4 going into the third period. The Penguins were victorious by a score of 6-4. Just some food for thought. Back up to you.
Well, Paul Maurice would love to see his team protect the lead and win here at home and get on a roll. They're going to play Nashville next on Tuesday night here at the Air Canada Center. High stick on the puck. Face-off coming up.
They're tied with the Penguins in points. They played a couple more games than the Pens have, but I'll tell you, put those points in the bank right now and see where you finish at the end of the year. Came down to the end of the year for the Toronto Maple Leafs last year. They missed the playoffs on the final day, courtesy of the New York Islanders' victory.
Jason Blake will step into the circle now. Eric Christensen will do the honors for the Penguins. And it's Ryan Whitney. And Christensen reached in, able to get it away from Blake for a moment. Look out, right in front, Tucker. Wellwood blasts one wide of the goal.
He had the gun cocked for an hour.
Point blank range. Hal Gill shooting one wide. Brooks Orpik up the wall. Ian White holds it in, and it comes right to the Leafs. Tucker wrists it wide of the goal. Now the whistle blows as Sabrin's able to freeze the puck on the cage.
Oh, Wellwood, a little work from behind the net there. Battle between Christensen and Tucker, and Wellwood had that gun cocked for seemed like an hour. He's got a small stick, Kyle Wellwood does. And much like Adam Oates had a small stick, a right-handed shooter.
He had half a blade too, Adam Oates.
Oh, God. It was,
It's a weird stick he used.
That was weird. Boy, he passed the puck.
Daryl Sador chops it up the boards. Malkin let it go. Caberlet pinched down on him, and Jordan Stahl can't get to it. Alex Steen ahead for Stajan. Stajan couldn't get it deep. Caberlet takes over. McCabe worked at the center. Steen dumps it deep. Here comes Devereaux. I've never seen Devereaux play with so much jump. An icing call against the Leafs. Devereaux's moving out there a lot quicker than I remember him skating. Of course, he played for the Edmonton Oilers and the Detroit Red Wings. He's a plugger. That's all he is, but he's getting the job done tonight. And, you know, guys like him make a big difference when your team's ahead. And there's Dana Heinze, who turned 40 this week. Happy birthday to Dana Heinze.
Does he ever sleep?
On the plane, he does. He's the first one to go to sleep. He's always got the blanket pulled up over his head when we get on the plane. He catches his Z's on the plane, and then as soon as he gets to Pittsburgh, he's right back down to the rink. He's a night owl.
Works hard.
Sure does. Matt Sundin. Chris Letang, who was a forward until he was about 10 years old. He said, I asked to play defense. I wanted to play defense. Centering pass. His hero as a kid was Mario Lemieux, but then when he switched to defense, his heroes became Scott Niedermayer and Dan Boyle. Here's Colby Armstrong. Ahead now to Sidney Crosby. Crosby wanted to fake the spin around and then shot it wide of the goal. He gave the defenseman that look like he was going to spin around and then fired it. So that's all he needs to do is do a couple of spins on the highlight reel for the team that he's going in to play next, and then give him a different look as he comes down the wing.
I liked it. It's a great little bit of a change here by Sidney Crosby coming down the left wing. Spin counterclockwise. Stop at about 6 o'clock. Stop there and then come back to 12 and let the shot go.
So many different tricks up his sleeve. Too marvelous for words, Sidney Crosby. Ian White stops on a dime, changes direction. He backhands it up the glass and out to center. Time ticking away on the Penguins, who are down by 2. If the Penguins can get the next goal, look out. Evgeny Malkin. Some people will say the 3-1 lead is the worst lead in hockey. That's what I used to hear anyway. As soon as that team that's down 3-1 makes it 3-2, the other team that has the 3 starts getting real nervous. Mark Eaton ahead for Peter Sikora. Jordan Stahl with Malkin. Malkin cuts into the middle. Malkin looks at the net. Doesn't shoot it though. Sends it down low. Whitney in deep on the play. Turns the corner. Man wide open, Orpik. It took a while to get them the puck to him. And he shoots it off a leg wide of the net. Orpik wanted that puck a lot earlier than he got it.
Looking for his first in 150 games. That would be a big one.
Orpik had 9 hits last night, and I asked him about that. He said, that's a weird stat. You could go into New York, and they might give you 3 hits. He said, it just depends on who's keeping the stats. He said, there have been nights when I felt like I had a lot more hits, and I didn't get credit for them, and then other nights where I get credit for a lot of them, and I don't really think I did it. So
it's true. I mean, it certainly is. I mean, it's just a judgmental call.
Tyler Kennedy couldn't get it deep. Ponikarovsky with Sundin. Ponikarovsky backhand shot, save, rebound, and Antropov overskated. That was a great save by Sabourin. Here comes Whitney. He'll poke it behind the defense. Tyler Kennedy in on the forecheck against Wisniewski. Puck comes free to Ponikarovsky. Good stick handling there to get around the forecheck of Gary Roberts. And the centering pass off the leg of Roberts into the Penguins zone. Sabourin has made some sparkling pad saves in this game for the Penguins tonight.
And Roberts a nice back check, so Antropov couldn't get his stick and put that one, chip it in on the open net.
Toskala shovels it to the corner. Antropov had a stick on it. Penguins wanted to draft Antropov the year he was taken. Mark Kelly, the Penguins European scout, pounded the table when the Leafs took him instead, ahead of the Penguins. The Penguins ended up taking Milan Kraft.
I'd be pounding the table too. Oh man, what a big body he is. A big talent. He's having a great first quarter here for Toronto.
Scuderi takes the fortuitous bounce and moves it along to Mark Eaton. Head now for Colby Armstrong. 3:57 to go. Penguins working to try to get the next goal and create some tension in the minds and the hearts of the Maple Leafs fans and the players here on the ice.
And I still think they have to work to get a penalty that might lead to that second goal and close the gap here. I don't think they're going to have 2 even-strength goals in them right now.
Paul Maurice commented today that he's happy that his team has been taking fewer penalties. Now Malkin, it's a stick on it to direct into the Leafs zone. Back to play to Ian White. Sends it hard around, and another good bounce off a partition, and the puck comes all the way back into the Penguins' end of the ring.
Oh, this is perfect for Toronto. Just keep that hourglass moving right now. The sand, the time just ticking away.
Malkin on one of his end-to-end rushes, I think. There he is. Now the shot by Sikora. Toskala came out to challenge to make the save. And a penalty coming up. A hooking call.
Well, this is what the doctor maybe ordered for Pittsburgh. Tell you, Sabourin's giving them a chance. A huge save on the doorstep of Ponikarovsky.
Peter Sikora drew the penalty along with Malkin. How about Malkin? He went back into his own zone, wound it up. Puck came to Sikora. He was hooked on the play.
Yeah, he was trying to go back to Malkin, who went back door for the empty netter. Didn't happen. Matt Sundin, he's the big faceoff man, a penalty killer for the Leafs, is in the box. Penguins with a great opportunity here with 3:13 on the clock, and they still have their timeout at their disposal. Toronto has registered 40 shots in this game.
Sid smashed it to the near boards. Hal Gill tries to get it out, can't do it. Whitney holds the puck, calmly moves it along for Letang, who looks at the net. His shot save, rebound, poked at, and it's swept away by the Leafs. Malone was there trying to hammer it home. Now Letang trying to stand his ground and keep the puck in. Ryan Malone carries it over the line, but offside is called on the Penguins.
Oh, very close, very close. Letang stood up, and Ryan Malone tried to keep that puck in as he was doing a little display with a little puck handling creativity at the blue line. Take a look at this. Puck's bouncing, and Malone's going to cradle it, lift it up, bounce it on
no
the
stick.
Yeah. So that was a big break for the Leafs.
Penguins up the ice on the power play now. Pittsburgh 0 for 3 tonight with the man advantage. We've had 4 shots on the power play tonight. Minute 20 to go on the penalty to Sundin. Sidney Crosby turns away from Devereaux. Leafs try to get it out. Whitney holds it in, but he's on his backhand here. Now he has it on the forehand. Wrist shot, save. Whoa, deflected wide of the goal. That almost went in. Ryan Malone with it behind the net for Christensen. Helps it along for Sid. Crosby to Whitney. Letang trying to get open for a shot here, but Sidney Crosby works it down low. And Christensen throws it to the net. Toss for the save. Rebound goes in, and the Penguins have made it 3-2. Not sure who got the goal. But it's off somebody, maybe Christensen into the net, and the Pittsburgh Penguins get the power play goal back to within one with 2:05 to go.
I think it was Christensen, but it wasn't going to go in, I don't think, without the help of Malone. And Malone may have shoved everybody, including the goaltender, here in front of the net. Look at Malone, the push off, the puck goes up. He may have batted it. Not sure if Malone got his stick on that or not. We'll get a better look here. Watch the push off by Malone. There, try to create space. Puck goes up. Hits the shoulder and over the back. Malone didn't touch it. It's going to go to 16. Eric Christensen, who's got 2 goals against the Leafs this season. Up, look at it. Hit the stick of Toskala. Went up, went over his shoulder, and almost just crawled right down his back, Steggy. Up the front and down the back.
Eric Christensen will take the power play goal on a platter.
And now 2 minutes left for the Penguins to knot it up.
And now a lump in the collective throat of the Toronto Maple Leafs, perhaps, as we have a whistle in neutral ice.
Take one more look at this goal, and this certainly was a lucky goal. A great bounce. Toskala's going to go out with his stick. He's going to hit the stick there, goes up over his right shoulder. You see it between the 3 and the 5. He tried to get the arm up there, but in doing so, the puck had reached its top point. The vertex, is that what it's called, Steggy? And then down the backside.
The apex.
The apex.
Pittsburgh power play goal, his 3rd goal of the season, scored number 16, Eric Christensen.
Here's Ryan Whitney with it now. Penguins will want to get Savern out of the net eventually. Here come the Pens on the attack, and there it's cleared up the wall by Matt Sundin.
Eric Christensen from Sidney Crosby and Ryan Whitney.
Crosby and Whitney get the assists on the goal by Christensen. Penguins can't get the puck into the Leafs zone. They'll try again. Letang try to go cross ice. That hits a stick. Leafs dump it back into Penguin ice.
An icing call here. Look at McCabe. He just can't believe it. He's pointing and pointing. Not exactly sure what he's pointing at here right now.
Big face-off coming up in the Leafs zone with a minute 20 to go.
Time for a Subway sandwich here. Hal Gill, 6'7" and 255 on the smaller Evgeny Malkin.
I'll tell you, Malkin, he had a tough earlier part of the game, but this 3rd period, he's been a force. And there goes Danny Savard. He's going to take a seat, and the Penguins get the extra attacker on the ice.
Yeah, they're going to load up the board side here. Hope Crosby can get it there, and they're going to jump if they lose.
Crosby against Stajan.
Oh, Stajan should have been kicked out. Is there a penalty? Oh, timeout Pittsburgh. A late timeout call. Michael Therrien, how about that? He took a look at the setup of the Leafs, and then he called timeout. Very smart play.
And Maurice still complaining about the icing call.
Yeah, they weren't happy with that icing call. They got to keep their same players on the ice. This may not be exactly what he wants on the ice tag at the end of a game with a 1-goal cushion. You know, does he want McCabe on the ice? I don't know. I mean, is that the guy you want out there to protect your lead? I'm not sure if that's exactly. He's got his 4th line out there.
Well, Stajan certainly is a good face-off man. Devereaux's on the ice. He's done a good job defensively tonight.
No chances in the 3rd period. Short-handed. The Penguins had some great chances. Unable to score. Malkin and then Malone on the same penalty. Goaltender Toskala stood the challenge. And then finally the Penguins got some bounces. How about a bounce off the right knee or thigh of Malone? And this one here trickles up and over the right side. That was incredible how that puck found its way in.
And what's the common thread on both of those goals? With number 12 right in front of the net. He has really gone to those areas where you got to pay a price. Ryan Malone in his prime at the age of 28. Here's Malkin with it. Penguins get the puck off the draw through into the net. Loose around the goal. Where is it? McCabe's down on top of it and the whistle blows.
Caberlet just toppled a Penguin right on top of McCabe. And Ryan Malone, once again, he's establishing position in front of the net. And like in basketball, it's kind of like you use that pick, a moving pick, you push off, Steggy, you create space. And that's what Malone's been trying to do in front of that net. You see some of the players around, the good players like the Knubles, and remember Tim Kerr and all those big bodied guys in front of the net. They establish their position, then they push off right when the puck is getting to them. That's what Ryan Malone's trying to do.
Caberlet hammering Colby Armstrong down on top of McCabe there.
Does anything go right now?
Right off the draw, puck to the net. Malone chops it just wide of the goal. Great chance for Malone. He went to the net again and almost tied the game. Now a battle for the loose puck. The Leafs will get it. Ponikarovsky, empty net, shoots the puck, scores. Penguins Penguins had their opportunity. Malone right on the doorstep.
See, the Leafs got who they wanted. See, they got a whistle, and they got the different men on the ice. They got the big face-off man, Sundin. You know, he's the guy. Let's face it. He's their captain of the hockey team. Watch him win this face-off. He won it so violently that it almost went in behind Toskala. Malone had the chance, but then he was down and out. 2 men on 1 on the boards. Antropov to Pondikarowski, turned it to the forehand. He didn't miss the 4x6. It looks like the Penguins are going to leave Canada with nothing but air.
And basically, knowing that they did reach down a little bit here in the third period, they did create some tension, but they did not get the equalizer. Malkin wants to go get it back if he can. There he goes, Evgeny Malkin. One hands the puck to the corner. He's playing with a lot more fire here in the third period than he did earlier in the game. Malkin again turns the corner. Going to get it to the net. And the Leafs, Antropov comes up with it. And they'll just push it up into the Penguin zone. So the Penguins get goals from Malone and Christensen. And Ryan Malone, a force himself in this third period, but just unable to get that tying goal. And here comes Devereaux again. Devereaux with the puck on his stick, knocked it out of midair, high over the shoulder, and the whistle blows with 20.6 seconds to go. So the Penguins will return home and meet the Phoenix Coyotes on Monday night in Pittsburgh, and then it's off to that trip to Western Canada. Penguins with games coming up against Western Conference clubs. Next 4 of them. They're 3-1 against the West so far this year.
Well, the Penguins set themselves up for a huge comeback here in the hockey game, but they didn't play 60 minutes. So you really turn to that. There's a reason why they failed to take any points out of Toronto. You can't just play 1 period of hockey and expect to win. They just didn't have it. You know, if Malkin was as good. Oh, here we got it. Letang wants to go. Steen won't fight him. Oh, it's Kennedy. Stasian's in there. Kennedy was looking for a piece. And we got zeros on the clock.
Hal Gill and Daryl Sador are barking at one another.
Yeah. Well, the Leafs were better. I mean, all you have to do is point to the scoreboard right here.
Toskala was solid, very solid. Made a lot of good players. He has made a lot of good saves. He's our player of the game. Allowing 2 goals on 32 shots. McDonald's presenting Vesa Toskala as our player of the game. And certainly, Bob, I thought the pluggers of the Leafs did a nice job. They got the early lead, and then they just protected it till the bitter end. And really, it was one of those things where the Penguins just too little too late for Pittsburgh.
Now, you talked about their neutral zone play. I thought that was good. I thought they were good offensively in the first period, using their defensemen, finding what the Penguins gave them, which was the point. And they had half their shots in that first period from the blue line. And they built a 3-0 lead, and that's almost insurmountable in the National Hockey League these days.
So the Penguins drop to a game under 500 again with a 4-2 loss here in Toronto. And they will be meeting Wayne Gretzky and the Phoenix Coyotes on Monday night at Mellon Arena. That's a 7:30 face-off in Pittsburgh. Last home game for a while for the Penguins. FSN's coverage continues right now with Paul Alexander and Jay Caulfield on FSN Live. This is Paul Steigerwald for Bob Airy and Danny Potash, inviting you to join us in just a moment.